You want something? You need something?
Hi,
Hi,
Gene.
Dan.
How are you?
Good, are you?
Busy,
That's
busy.
a good thing.
Makes the day goes by, that's for sure.
I hear
Sometimes they're going by a little too fast, though.
you.
Today's one of those days.
Well. February vacation. Oh, that's not, you don't have, I'm thinking like you were a teacher yet. February.
Well, listen, I do because I'm away. I'm
Oh,
away.
you going to Disney?
No, we, along with a couple other families, rented a house down south of Tampa for
Nice.
from Sunday to Thursday. So
Excellent.
it'll be fun. Right on the
Yeah.
water.
Be great.
Much needed. Hi, Sue.
Hi, Sue. Hi, Sue.
Hi, Jean, how's it going?
How you doing?
Good, and yourself?
Good.
Turn up the volume.
Rick and I are heading down to Washington, DC tomorrow morning at some ungodly hour.
Oh,
We're
good for
going
you.
Via train to,
Okay.
two of my great nieces are in a volleyball tournament down there.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Something to do, right? Somewhere to go.
Ah,
Hey, buddy.
Hello.
split up though. They're
Rich.
playing about the same time.
Again. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good.
Hey, Dan, is my microphone on?
Sounds good to me, Bob.
Because I don't have anything that says that it's on or off. Or anything, so.
I can hear you.
Hey, Dan, how's it going?
Hi, Sue. How you
Hi,
doing?
Bob.
Hey, Sue.
Sue, how you feeling?
I'm feeling much better, thank you.
Good.
I'm all better now.
And your knees doing well because you had surgery, right?
Yeah. It wasn't my knees. I can't get my microphone. I can hear you, but barely.
I can hear you just fine.
Oh, okay.
Hi, Jed.
Hi, Dan.
How are you,
Hey,
buddy?
Dan. Good, how are you?
I did.
I submitted my application to rejoin the group. So we'll see what
Attaboy.
happens. I'm not optimistic.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be tough for you to get it back on. Please.
We ready to go?
We got quorum.
Let's do it.
All
I'm
right,
here.
it's 7 o'clock, call to order. All right, so kind of go over my normal rundown. Let's make sure that was anything I needed. Okay, so programming wise, we have a February vacation program next week. As I think I told you guys before, we are no longer working with Sports Zone. I have SNL who does, you guys have met SNL before. They do the flag football program. They've expanded their horizons beyond that to do all kinds of sports programs now. So they're going to come in and do the full week program next week. Full week for us is Tuesday through Friday. We have 8 kids currently registered for full day. We have 12 for half day, and they'll accept drop-ins on a daily basis. So I'd anticipate they'd have anywhere from 30 to 40 kids per day. I think that they'll do very, very well. I met with them today. I couldn't be happier with how it's planned. They're going to have an adult on site at all times, which is very unusual for us because Sports Zone, though, did a fine job for some time. They would have high school kids on site. So I prefer to have that recognized adult there, point person, so you know if you're coming in, that's the person to go talk to. That's the person who's in control of the scene. So we're excited about it, and I think that they'll do a great job. In numbers wise, honestly, they're ahead of where Sports Zone was last year. Their numbers are actually ahead of where my program that I ran in Christmas vacation was. So it's good having 20 kids so far for the week. Other programs that are coming up, we have rock climbing coming up. That starts the back end of February vacation. They have 4 signed up for that now. We can only take a maximum of 6 anyways, and that program always fills up. We have spring tennis, which won't start until April, but that program is currently full. We have Biddy basketball starting up in mid-March. We have 28 kids for the pre-K group, and we have 24 from the kindergarten group. We can take a max of 30. We keep extending the maximums because they just keep adding more staff to it. So, but great numbers there. We have a multi-sports program also starting around that time. We have 10 kids for the pre-K, 9 for the kindergarten. These are new programs that we've never done before. Pickleball lessons start up right after February break. Those are full. We are looking to add more classes for April, May, and June, possibly outside, could be inside. We're just kind of see how it goes. I'd love to use the outdoor courts since we have them and give everybody a different experience there. We have 22 kids registered for fencing right now, that is just an increasing sport. In our theater program, we have 27 kids participating right now. That program will end at the beginning of April with a performance that they'll be doing. Our soccer shots classes, which are ongoing right now, have 33 kids signed up. New sessions will start at the beginning of April for that. They'll do one on Tuesday night, and then they'll do one on Saturday. The demand is there, so we're going to increase our participation there. We're going to be adding volleyball soon. We did it last spring. I think we had 50 something girls who participated in that. So we'll be adding that soon. We're just waiting on some information from the high school because they just started a boys volleyball program that's going to start this spring. So there's potential to add the boys to the girls for this program and have a really big program. Community gardens, we've taken the applications for that already for the lottery. And that's open for a while longer anyways, but we have 68 people currently registered for 43 plots. Last year we had 96, but I still have over a month to get more registrations for that. So we could have peak numbers there. And then we're going to be adding more programs for the fitness court that we're going to do this spring in conjunction with the Chamber of Commerce. So that we're going to get some of their business groups to work with us and try to do some fitness classes down there. So that's what we have coming up for spring. Any questions about spring programs? Okay.
Is there any chance of getting more space on the community gardens?
No, there's a chance of building another community garden.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So that has been talked about above me. I think it's more finding the right location. And from what I'm told, the state would be open to funding that again. So possibilities are there. It's just finding the right location and again, kind of keeping the demand. So we're showing a good 3-year trend of this of 90 plus applications for this. I would be cautious in overdoing it because there is such a thing as too much of a good thing. You know, you like to have the demand, but you also want to try to meet the demand. 5 years from now, do we need 90 plots? If we had 90 plots, I don't know. So I think we need to be a little bit cautious of what we do, but I also think that we need to pick different locations in town. You know, JJ is a nice kind of centralish
Yeah,
location.
right.
You know, can we do something on the west side or something over in the, you know,
Something like by the Doll Bear, you know?
right. Yeah, right. So a lot of that's got to factor in. So I know that town council, specifically Maureen, has mentioned that she'd like to add another one. So I think that will come in time. And again, I'd like to see the continued trend of the demand there. Now, obviously, the town is there's places being built everywhere, right? And they're all condos, so those people wouldn't have necessarily a garden or a yard to be able to do it in. So this is perfect in that element. I just want to make sure that we pick the right location and the demand is always going to be there, because otherwise it's dead space. Yeah, but we'll cross that bridge. But there's conversations going on about it. Anything else about spring stuff? No. All right, I'll jump over to summer. So summer, those of you guys who follow us on Facebook, we are pumping out different program advertisements every day. And honestly, registration is going very well so far. So some of the programs that we have coming up are adult tennis. We're doing the blacktop basketball program again. We have classes with Right Brain Curriculum, a group that I've worked with for a few years. They're doing 4 different programs. They're doing Business Sharks, Lego Adventures, Lego Challenges, and a Metrocraft Minecraft program. So we're excited about those. We have our standard program that we run with my staff, Club Rec. We are doing a family fishing clinic, a 1-day clinic only with Mass Wildlife. We are doing our HRC program, which I mentioned before, the Health, Recreation, and COP program. It's going to be for just the Wakefield kids, and registration for that's going a little slow right now, but I think that'll pick up pretty soon. We are doing Kids Corner this year, which is going to be run by my staff. That is for the little ones who are ages 3 to 5, who just need somewhere to go for a few hours. And I have the best director I could possibly ask for that. The woman who runs our theater program, she's also a para at Galvin, and she is the theater director for the Galvin. She's going to be my summer program director for the Kids Corner. So she's top notch, and we're lucky to have her. We have our McDavitt field hockey clinics. So Tina Matera is the coach at Tufts University. She runs this program for us. She lives in Wakefield. It's great. We are doing classes with a group out of New Jersey called Minds in Motion. I actually got their info through Woburn Recreation. I'd seen an advertisement for one of their classes. I said, hey, what's this about? How's this group to work with? And they had nothing but rave reviews about it. So we're trying 3 new classes with them. It's one's called 6 in 1 Space Fleet, one's Bridges and Building, and one is Solar Bots. So they're actually pretty cool programs, and the kids get to take home their projects. And quite honestly, the cost of their stuff was so low. We've done stuff with other groups, and it's been 2.5 times what this group is charging now. So, and actually they're in their longer hours too. So we're real excited about this one. I think it's going to go great. We're doing Ninja Warrior programming. We are doing one-on-one basketball with Kim Penny. We have SNL All Sports during the summer, the weeks that my program is not in session. We are doing classes with math science or spectacular hands-on science. We've done it with them in the past. We had 41 kids one summer with them. So good program. We have summer tennis with Sandy Palmer. We have volleyball with the high school coach. We have clinics with Wakefield Soccer Association. We have a clinic with the high school baseball coach, a clinic with the high school basketball coaches, one with Timmy Johnson, the boys lacrosse coach. We have softball with Chris Tolios. We are going to have a girls lacrosse program again this summer. We are doing soccer shots. We're going to have more pickleball classes. We're doing a recreation on the run program. I'm trying to get the high school track coaches to do something with us. And I'm looking to add some kind of summer concerts. So I want to do kind of concerts on the common, 2 adult concerts. And then I want to do 2 or 3 kids concerts in the afternoons, maybe like a Wednesday afternoon kind of thing. So we did those when I was in Reading moons ago at this point. and they were super popular. So I want to start small this year, see the demand, and if it's as successful as I expect, we'll increase the amount of concerts that we do there. I'm also doing that in collaboration with the Chamber of Commerce, and they have already secured some funding, supposedly from the state for that, through some sort of cultural grants. So, and then we will reach out to some local businesses to see who might want to sponsor something. So we have a lot planned, and quite honestly, more stuff's going to come along too. I mean, I have 90% of our stuff out, but I'm day by day, more things come across my desk and like, oh, that's cool. We should do that. So we're expanding and growing and continuing. And it's a lot of fun, this process. This is my favorite time of year, putting all this together. And then come late June is when I start having the panic attacks. So it's all good at this point, but we're happy, and we're moving in a good direction. So any questions, comments about summer programming?
Yeah, Dean, when you say a clinic run by like a high school coach, how does that work as far as fees, or
So we collect all the,
they're part of the fee? Or...
Yep. So most of the coaches run this as fundraisers for their programs. So we charge the fee, whatever it is, we take our percentage, and then I encourage all the coaches, because time is money, to take a portion for themselves, and then they put the remainder into the program. So they're basically clinicians for us. And a lot of the money goes to their boosters. So like last year, we'll use basketball as an example. Basketball brought in roughly $8,000 from their programs. $4,000 went to the boys program, $4,000 went to the girls program. And that helps them fund their seasons.
So the high school coaches take a small salary, and
Yep.
the rest of the money goes back into the programs,
Yep.
like for equipment or
Exactly.
uniforms or.
Yep.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Yeah,
Charlie?
Dan. It's great. It's a lot going on this summer. How about compared to pre-pandemic?
Yep.
Is there a lot more going on now? Are we back to normal for the summer?
So
or-
we've grown exponentially since then. So what we're doing now, what we did last summer, is where I wanted to be the pandemic year. So then, so 2020, that's what we had planned, and we canceled everything. 2021, not knowing how things were going to be, we went real low, real thin with programming. Last year, we grew more. We got to where, again, I wanted to be pre-pandemic. We are ahead of
Yeah.
that now. I mean, we have 75, I counted yesterday, 75 individual programs this summer.
Awesome.
And
Awesome.
quite honestly, I'd like to get to 100.
Well, I see you're hiring some people too.
Yep.
For the club
Yeah.
rec.
So
right?
I put out a e-blast today and a Facebook post today looking for summer staff. So I gave my summer staff obviously the opportunity to come back. I knew I had an older staff last year. I was so lucky. They were older college kids. They did a great job. Now it's time for them to get internships. So I've lost 7 this year so far. So I'm looking to hire at least 12 this year, because I'm gonna need to hire for the Kids Corner program as well. So I've got a lot of interest today. A lot of ones who are just a little too young right now, because I keep saying we want current high school and college students. A lot of kids in 8th grade. I'm sorry, I just can't have an incoming freshman working with 6th graders. It just isn't going to fly. So I told everybody, those parents, give us a year, and we'll interview them next year for sure. But I've got a lot of interest so far. I have a few applications across my desk right now that look real promising, but everybody looks good on paper. I bring them all in for physical interviews because I want to meet them person to person. I don't want to do it over Zoom because I'm tired of this. I don't want to do it over the phone. I get a better feel when they walk through the door as to who they are.
Yeah.
And I told one parent a story today because one of my best staff ever is doing an internship somewhere, and I'm happy for him, sad for me. And this kid was hired before he walked into my office because he showed up, shirt, tie, khakis, had on his Letterman jacket, walked up to Karen and said, "Hi, Mrs. Burke. My name is Liam. I'm here for an interview with Mr. McGrath." And that he was hired before he walked through my door because I was impressed as to how he was dressed, how he presented himself to Karen. He showed her that respect. That's the kind of kid that I'm looking for. So I hope I get a few more of those this year.
Do you have any parents or out of college individuals working with you?
I have, so I do, yeah. So my club rec director, so I don't call anything a camp. Okay, that's, Charlie, you know,
Oh,
we
yeah,
had this conversation.
absolutely.
That's like
Yeah.
Recreation 101, don't call it a camp. So my program director, she is a teacher in Everett. Actually, no, I'm sorry, she's over in Lynn now. So she's been with me for 6 years, something like that. I have one of my summer camp staff is actually my former PE teacher at Coolidge Middle School in Reading. And she's a para at St. Joe's now. And she just wants to be involved with the kids. She is awesome. My staff loves her. The kids love her. And she just gives that little extra credibility. And then actually we have a couple Wakefield girls who have graduated from Bridgewater State or are about finishing up their masters at Bridgewater State. And they're working with us again this summer. So we have some great trained adults.
But you're not looking for any longer term employment? for
Not
any
yet.
individuals? Okay.
So I'll get to that in a couple at the end. We have something exciting potentially coming up.
Awesome. And the last thing I want to say is for the concert series that you're going to do,
Yeah.
the movie nights
Yep.
are a big draw. So I think having anything at the Common concerts, but also earlier in the day,
Yes.
because a lot of families,
Yep.
sunset is a bit late for movies. So having something earlier in the day, I think you're going to have a lot of people coming down and participating.
So for the children's shows, I'm thinking like a 3:30 to 4:30 kind of thing, 3:30 to 4:15 kind of thing. And, you know, just cutesy little performers who do, you know, magic or songs or whatever it is. You know, again, I haven't
The
done,
bubble guy. I think
But,
there's a
you know,
bubble guy that travels. That's very
I've-
popular.
I'm looking for all these vendors right now. I haven't done these concerts in 16 years, I think it is. So I'm so out of tune with who the popular ones are. When I worked at Reading, it was Wayne from Maine. Like he was the biggest act that you had to get, and he was awesome. Yeah, those are the ones that I'm looking for, trying to draw an attraction, not just from Wakefield, because that's great, but if we can draw from other avenues too, other local towns, bring them here, go get an ice cream down at wherever, it's a boon for us. So we're looking at those, and I have a
Or
few feelers.
bring the business to you too. Have
Right.
them open up, have stands and
Yep. So I have a few, you know, feelers out there to see who are the right people to hire. Because unfortunately, I just don't know anymore. I used to be in tune with it. I'm not now.
very
Anything
good.
else?
Yeah, DM, but the staff that you're looking to hire, are they Wakefield kids? Are they out of town kids? Or
I've never hired one student from out of Wakefield. That doesn't mean I won't, because if I don't have enough staff,
Yeah.
enough qualified staff for Wakefield, you know, I might need to go out, but Wakefield always has first priority.
I just wanted to go on record as 20 years in a row asking that question.
Yep. That's important to me. I want to make sure that our kids in town get the first right, you know, and I do have to consider who the best candidates are now, because I think that we've warranted that. And I think that we want to have the best program possible. You know, if my pickings was for current eighth graders, I got to look outside of town, because I need to have older staff.
Mhm.
But I don't think we'll have a problem. I think I'll find exactly what I need right in Wakefield. And, you know, I've already had, you know, my daughter's friends tell me, oh, because they all get the emails, because they've all done something at Wakefield Rec during my time there. Oh, we like to apply for that. I'm like, yeah, you guys can't yet. You know, we
Yeah.
got to look here first, just like I'd expect if you guys apply to Reading Rec, they're going to look at Reading students first. Fair is fair.
Did you reach out to the schools?
What's that?
Did you reach out to the high school?
I will reach out to the guidance office.
Okay.
That's my go-to. And then I've also reached out, or we'll talk to, and we'll have further conversations with the youth action team and all those groups. Because what I'm looking for is strong, engaged leaders, whether you're a leader on the field or in the classroom or in the band or on stage, whatever it is. I just want kids who are leaders. It's been my bread and butter to go to that, and it's honestly been my most successful staffs when I've had that kind of that mix. So it's tried and true, and we're going to keep doing it. Anything else about programs? No. All right, moving on to the Civic Center stuff. So again, as I've said, we are just slammed with rentals, and it's great. We are booked solid right now through March 4th. That's when WBA ends. And even when that ends, the time is just filling quickly. So pickleball, again, it's the biggest thing going. People looking for rental time there. I have, groups from Little League who want time. Softball, I'm sure, is going to want some indoor time that we can fill them in before they get outside. Lacrosse has used it in the past. Soccer has used it in the past. So anytime that WBA is currently using, we'll get that filled up. And then, projects on the horizon. Right now, there's none. It's nice. It's quiet. So, they did have to do a patch on the roof. So there was some small leaking along the edges. They just had to do some, oh God, I just lost the word.
Caulking?
Yeah, no.
Flashing.
Yes, thank you, Jed. They had to do some updates to the flashing because there was some water getting behind the wall. So that's been addressed. I guess tomorrow I'll have a better idea as to how good it was because it's supposed to rain, I think. But it seems to be fine. The little seepage that we had, and other than that, you were just busy there. It's constantly something. There's never a down hour, so it's good times. Any questions about the Civic Center? No. Okay. Fields. So that process begins on March 1st. I'm already taking field requests in. A big one came up yesterday, so the Voc is undergoing their construction or whatever up at the Voc. So they are going to be in need of some baseball fields for practices. They have 3 teams. The high school and the Voc are going to work that out for the time that the Voc needs. It's not going to impact our youth. And that was kind of my thing. If the high school wants to give up some of their time so the Voc can use that time, that's fine. Because between the time school ends until about 5:30, 6 o'clock, that's always been high school time. So if they want to give up their time, they can do that as long as they're not encroaching on the youth. So they're not going to encroach on the youth. Dennis Fazio is totally on board with this. Brendan's on board with it. Don, the AD at the Voc, is on board with it. The coaches are working things out. So I don't need to worry about anything at this point about that. I have adult baseball requests already on my desk. I have youth soccer requests on my desk. So March 1st, we'll start putting it together. I'm waiting on youth lacrosse and soccer to tell me the proposed schedule I sent them. Is there any changes I need to make? I don't think there will, because it's kind of been the same schedule since Rich was booking this a long time ago. So I think we're in good shape with that stuff. We'll just be waiting on men's softball, women's softball, and youth softball will use what they use. Youth Little League will use what they use. We should be in good shape. So any questions about fields?
Just Dan, do you think the fee structure as it's set is adequate, or does it need to be addressed? Or?
It needs to be addressed.
Okay.
I think, it's been in place for a while, and I think we need to go up a little bit. When playground equipment gets broke and needs to be replaced, we get the bill for it. When the high school or when fields need new bases or basketball nets or whatever it is, we get the bill for it. Dennis needs speedy dry, that kind of stuff, we get the bill for it. Those things got more expensive, but our costs have remained the same. So I think we do need to look at it at some point. But my feeling is that we would do that at the beginning of a new year. So I would look to do that in 2024. So I'll have a proposal to you guys late 2023 to increase that for 2024 and beyond.
And did I imagine this? Were you talking about, was there talk one day about a street hockey court or something, maybe going in place of a tennis court?
Yep.
Is that a thing that's happening?
I honestly don't know the status, Julie. So
Okay.
the last conversation that I had involved a couple town councilors, some local residents, the town engineer, and the Boston Bruins.
Right,
And
that's right.
the last that I knew, some designs were going to be sent to, or some cost estimates were going to be sent to the Bruins to see what they could potentially give us for a grant, if anything.
Right.
And that's kind of out of my hands now until something is done. So I know that there's a push for it.
Mhm.
I imagine something will happen, but like everything, I don't necessarily have a time frame. The things get built and then they get handed over to me. But from concept to build, I generally have
Your hand,
nothing. Yeah, I'm kind of out of it.
Purview.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Once it's done, then they're like, here you go, you get to take care of it, which is great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
So that's where we are. But I do know that a couple town councils are pushing for that to certainly happen. And if we get the grant from the Bruins, even better.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks.
Sure. Anything else? All right. So one more thing that I have, and this is kind of the exciting thing. So I don't know that this is set in stone yet, but I have been told that there's a good chance that we're going to take the recreation department, are going to take over the ACE building, the Albion Cultural Exchange, kind of to help with the bookings of it. Because right now they don't use it as a rental facility. They just use it for their shows. I think the town wants to expand the usage of it, and we have the systems in place to do that. So that may be happening soon. I was told the other day that I was going to. I think there's been a little bit of backlash. I think some of the people at the ACE are a little upset about that. So I think there's some further discussion to be had. But we're preparing to do it. And that can open up a world of programming for us too. We also actually wanted to think about one other program because it would fit with the ACE building. We're actually trying to work with Hunt Photo in Melrose. They reached out to us to do some classes. So I'm waiting on that, but that would kind of fit in with the ACE building where, we can do a lot of cultural things there. So I'd like to do, photography there. I'd like to do some, drama classes there. I'd love to do some art classes there. I know there's some potential rental space upstairs and make those into studios for people to rent, or even for short-term business rentals. Somebody's an accountant and needs an office for 3 months or whatever it is. So I'd like to kind of explore those opportunities if those are there. So there's a lot of balls in the air right now, but I think it's trending towards we will take that over pretty soon. So I'm pretty pumped about that, just to give us another space to manage, to oversee, and to expand our programming, because that's not necessarily my wheelhouse, but it can become my wheelhouse pretty quick. And I've already reached out to a few people that, if in the event that we have this, what could you do there? And there's been some real excitement behind it. I've had a few people who, looking to do some, potential dance kind of classes there, some adult art classes there, and we continue with the art shows and those kinds of things. So those would never go. That's what the building's there for. But I think just expanding it a little bit would be a boon to obviously our department, but also to the town. So that's what I have on that. Any questions on the ACE?
Yeah, the programming, you just said something about adult art classes, but like the other stuff you're talking about, drama, dance, photography, were you thinking more programming for kids, adults, a mix?
So a mix. So, for drama right now, it's just the kids. But for photography, and we've done photography in the past for adults. We did it with Beth Boudreau, who lives in town, and she's wonderful. It just never seemed to fly at the Civic Center. Does it work better at the ACE? Maybe. Some of the art classes that I have, the two women whom I've spoken with, they do adults and they do kids. And they might want to do like a sip and paint night. And I think that those are things that we can find a way to make work. So, obviously that's a little bit more on my end, because now we need to get the liquor licenses and that kind of stuff, but we can do that. So I just think that there's a world of possibilities that I haven't even thought of yet, that we can make a reality at that space. And, the Civic Center itself is super booked, and if you've ever been to a meeting at the Civic Center, I don't know that, I know most of us have had a meeting there during WBA season, we're fine in the room, but when kids are out in the hallway and bouncing basketballs, it can become distracting. So that's hard for classes at times. I've had people who want to do yoga classes at the Civic Center, and they did it for a week, and they said, yeah, that's not going to work because it's too busy in the hallways. And I understand it. But could that fit at the ACE? It should. So I think there's ways to make it work. And again, just gives us a new programmable space, which I'm excited about.
Cool.
Will you need to renovate any rooms there?
So from what I'm told, DPW would be doing some work there to make it so it's rentable space. And they told me that somebody from DPW had proposed to me a long time ago, why don't you take it over? I said, well, it's not available to take over, and I'm not going to do anything unless somebody tells me to. And they said, well, if you would take it over, we could do this, this, and this. So I think some wheels have been in motion that I'm not aware of. I literally the other day got an email, if you guys want to book this, if you guys want to have your shows, that's fine, but we're going to repurpose the space and it's going to go underneath the recreation director. So I was like, yay for me, happy. Where are the keys? Because I want to get going. And then I kind of took a step back and said, well, let this play out the way it needs to play out first.
Yeah, because Dan, aren't they trying to negotiate with that new building at the bank to put an elevator in for them and all kinds of stuff?
I don't know.
That's what I read in the paper.
Yeah, I don't know. All I know, Jed, is that I might be taking it over.
All right.
And I've known that this could come down the road for a few months. It's kind of like I said, somebody from DPW mentioned to me, hey, if this ever came about, would you be interested? But yeah, Steve may even call me up and say, hey, Dan, you're in charge of this now. And I'm in charge of great. I'll do whatever I'm asked to do. I'm happy with my job. I love trying new things and doing new things. So if it's another feather in my cap, I'm all for it. I'll do whatever I'm told, whenever I'm told to do it. Any other questions?
This is a really broad question, but I'm just gonna throw it out there. It does, I see all the blasts and I forward like so many programs to my wife and I'm like, what do you think about this for the boys and all that? And you're saying that you do, there's expanding and you think you're going to have 75 programs. You'd love for it to be 100. So that it does seem like there's a lot of growth going on, which is awesome. And are there any concerns or projections you have about expansion and even what is and is not sustainable for the department as is?
Well, right now, as we're currently running, everything's easy. I want to add more because I want to add more staff. In my ideal world, I'll have an assistant director. So I can focus on the things that I'm strong at. I can hire somebody who's strong at what I'm weak at. And again, just continue to grow. I want to get involved in any projects that we go down the road. I'd love to be involved with the potential, street hockey court and basketball court and kind of getting to know the ins and outs of that. But as it's currently structured, A, that's not my purview. B, I don't have the time. I got to focus on the Civic Center. I got to focus on fields. I got to focus on programs. And I have to make sure I'm a husband and a father too. So the goal has always been to make it a bigger department because I think we can sustain it. And I think if I have somebody who can even do some programming on their own, so as opposed to us paying out, and I'll just use soccer shots as an example because it's an easy one to do. If I have somebody who can run soccer classes, so we keep 100% of the funds as opposed to keeping 30%. Well, that's a huge boon to us.
Yeah.
I know when I was in Arlington, I ran every single class until I went to my boss one day and said, listen, I'm going home and I don't want to play with my kids anymore because I played with everybody else's kids today. So I'd love to have somebody who can program because that's not my strength anymore. I'm administrative now. I'm a behind the desk guy. I can go out and observe and look and tell you what I see and what can be fixed. I can't go and teach a basketball class anymore. I just can't. I don't have it in me anymore. And I was really, really good at that in my early 20s and up until about 30.
It takes a
not
lot
good
of
at it
energy,
anymore.
Dan. It takes
not-
a lot of energy.
I'm just not good at it anymore. And I don't have that patience. You know, it takes patience with the little ones.
Yeah.
I don't have it anymore. I've lost it. It's gone. So I want to find people who can do that. So I'd like to grow. You know, if the Boys and Girls Club were to ever leave the building, and I don't think that's going to happen, but if they were, I want to run a preschool in the morning and I want to run an after school program in the afternoons. You know, again, I think that we can do that. And obviously with the space, we could absolutely do it. We just have to have that space. So there's a lot of moving parts. I think, you know, for my 8th, I think I'm in my 8th going on my 9th year, whatever it is, maybe I'm in my 9th year. It doesn't even matter at this point. I'm at the point where I'm ready to do more.
Mhm.
You know, the pandemic set me back a few years mentally, and obviously programmatically. It's time to get where we wanted to go. And, you know, I'm 2 years behind where I wanted to be, but we're there now. And now it's time to take the next step.
Well, I mean, kudos to you because like I said, the amount of like new programming is great and the variety is great. And like, it's definitely recognized just every day. Like a lot of the programs you said, I was like, yeah, Lego adventure. Yeah, absolutely. Kids corner. Yep. Let's go. Like, yeah. So good stuff.
And honestly, these new things, they're fun for me. Like, I don't have to think about Club Rec. I know what's going to happen right now because I've done it for 20 years.
Yeah.
You know, and it's the same, quite honestly, I've done it longer than that because it's the same model that I did when I was a camp counselor when I was 17 years old. So I've done it for 30 years. I don't want to say I'm bored because I'm not bored, but I know what's going to happen. And it's cyclical. My job is very cyclical. I can tell you what's going to happen, who, what, when, where, why, basically every year. And, you know, Karen and I have gone through past history and said, all right, when do we do this? And we'll go and, you know, search our save files and be like, oh, we did that a year ago today. It's just how it works.
Yeah.
So I'm ready to add more, do more because we can. I don't think there's a lot of departments that can function with 2 people the way that we function.
Boy.
You know,
I don't know how you do it. I don't.
and here's the thing, Julie, we do it because we've done it so long together.
Mhm.
You know, I'm very lucky that I have Karen because Karen can finish my sentences most days because we worked together for 9 years, maybe 10 years. So we know each other, we know everything about each other, and we know how each other works. So it's not worked for us. You know, that's why we're ready to take on another challenge. If they say take over ACE, great. Like that's new. We don't know how that works, but I tell you what, we'll figure it out very soon.
And,
So we're ready to do more.
to Julie's, to piggyback on Julie's question, out of the 75 programs, how many of those, just like a rough estimate, are run through the rec department, not by a third party?
So Blacktop Basketball's us, Club Rec is us, HRC is us, and Kids Corner. That's it.
Yeah, so there's definitely a lot more room for you
Oh,
guys
yeah.
to,
We contract out
yeah.
everything, and we have to. But
Yeah,
oh,
well,
and
yeah. I mean,
pickleball's us too.
we talked about this many times
Yep.
that, yeah, that's the way the rec
Yep.
departments are running now.
That's the way they're running now. I would like to get back to having more stuff in house because it can be done. And quite honestly, I think it helps build trust with the community.
Mhm.
So when somebody says, you know, if, oh, Dan McGrath's running basketball today and they love the class I run. Oh, we want to do more of that. And oh, he's the guy who runs the department too. It helps with the community relations part of things. As we're not just names, we're faces. And that's the one thing that I don't want to say I struggle with in this position, but you know, in Arlington and Reading, I was the face and everything because I ran all those things. Here, I know I'm the name, but I have to be the name. I can't be the face because I can't be out as much as I want to be. The pickleball group knows me because they see me every morning, you know. But outside of that, you know, the Club Rec kids, they know who I am. The Blacktop basketball kids have no idea who I am because I don't go there.
So how do we go about getting you an assistant director?
So, you know, and I've had the conversations with Steve. We will get there. I want to show continued growth and continued improvements in the department and show a continued need. You know, unfortunately for me, we're able to do it with 2, you know,
Yeah.
and we don't struggle.
I'm sure it has to go through town meeting or town council. get the
Eventually,
position.
I will need to make a proposal for
Yeah.
an assistant, and that would need to go before town meeting. Yes.
And I saw that you did go in front of town council for the
Yeah.
first time in so many years.
Yeah.
And the net from the department was like 50-60,000 that went
Yeah.
back to the general
Yeah.
fund. So by the rec running more programs on their own, you
Right.
can definitely support
Correct.
a part-time person.
I'd
like
actually,
this.
Charlie, I honestly want to hire another full-time person.
Or even, yeah,
I want to have a 40-hour a week person.
Yeah.
And honestly, not necessarily 8 to 5 either, or 9 to 5.
Well,
You
yeah,
know,
yes,
I wouldn't mind having
weekends
somebody who
and
come in
nights,
from 11 to 7 or whatever it is, you know. Again, to be at the building when I'm not there. So Christina, our custodian at the Civic Center, she's great. So she doesn't have to take on a lot of the burden of when I'm not there answering questions for people. Just have that person in the office who's there during our majority of our functioning hours. I think would be beneficial. And I actually already have the space lined up for them. Though, if we get the ACE building, maybe that person goes over to the ACE building and runs that stuff. So again, there's a lot of moving parts here. And we'll get there. You know, I didn't, and you guys who have been on the board for a while know this already, you know, I expressed interest for taking over the Civic Center from day one. In fact, I hadn't even started yet. My first meeting with the board was on September 10th of 2014, and I didn't start till September 14th, 2014. And I asked Steve Mayo that day walking into the Civic Center, so when do I get to take over this building? And I expressed interest in it for a while. And I remember meeting with Tony Longo after one of our meetings outside of the police department, because we had to meet at the police department. And I said, you know, I have to get that space. We could do this, this, and this there. And he said, "You're serious?" I said, "Yes." And that's when the push kind of started, and we got it. We got that a lot faster than we ever thought we would. And it's been the best thing for us. We are the envy of most of our neighboring rec departments because we have that beautiful space and they don't have that. And I look at Reading Recreation, who has more staff than us, less space than us. They do a few different programs than us that I know are their cash cows, and you know, we can't do that at this time. You know, they run basically WBA. They run basically WBA in Reading. That's a cash cow for them. I've told WBA, if you guys ever want to get rid of the intramural program, we'll pick that right up. I don't want to do travel ever again. I ran travel in Burlington, but I tell you what, if that's what you had to do, that's what we'll do. And you know, assistant director, guess what? You're now in charge of travel basketball. You know, that's how they make their money all year. And their summer camp just blows it out of the water in Reading. They have 120 kids a week, but you know, they don't have a boys and girls club. They don't have a strong after school program like Wakefield Academy.
Yeah.
You know, they do have the YMCA, but the YMCA is expensive. So they get the numbers that way. We got to grind for ours. You know, I got to try and honestly, when I program or put a price for ours, I try to undercut what I think the other ones are going to charge. So am I undercharging? Possibly, but I want to get people through the door. I want to be the best value in town. So, yeah.
Yeah, you should be. You're the
Yeah.
rec department. Yeah. I
Right.
agree.
Right. And you know what? We're hiring good local kids. I will tell you, the staff that we had last summer is the best staff I've ever had and the best staff I've ever been associated with. And those were all great Wakefield kids. We have them here. I just want more of them.
How's the, you don't have to say amount or anything. How's the pay? Are
Minimum
people
wage.
drawn? Huh?
They get minimum wage.
Okay.
And which is $15 an hour now.
Yeah.
I made $5.55, so I'm envious.
Yeah.
I mean, to babysit, to group babysit, you know, it's a good deal. Anything else? No. All right. Well, that's all I have for you guys.
Oh, I have one more question, Dan.
Yeah, buddy.
Sorry. Going back to like a hybrid meeting, is that something we're looking at? I talked to somebody at the library today. They have a room in the library also now that's equipped to do the meetings.
Yep. So good question. So I've been told that we're remote through March. Then they're asking the governor for an extension. Basically, what we're waiting on right now is the Civic Center is going to be retrofit with some sort of recording equipment, because we have to have that.
Right, so I know the library now has a room that they would offer to us
Yep.
also, if we want to go there.
So once that's installed, we are good to go hybrid. And trust me, we will do that. I mean, obviously, there's gonna be days that we might need to be, some of us might need to be remote,
Right, that's perfectly fine.
but I'd love to be in one room, and because I mean, everybody hasn't met everybody yet. You know, I know Charlie hasn't met you guys face to face yet. So, you know, I'd like to see that day. And speaking of which, just because we're all basically here now, Tony is no longer on the board. For those of you guys who don't know, Tony moved out of Wakefield, so unfortunately he resigned. He's now in Maine, I believe. Wishing him well up there. Hope all goes well. So we are looking for a replacement. I do not know if that has been posted yet. But obviously, if you know any interested parties, certainly have them apply to the town once that becomes available, because always looking for good people who want to be involved with us and see this growth that I'm hoping that we have in the next few years.
It was in the paper, the
Was it?
recreation, yeah.
Okay, I don't see those things.
Had some.
Right, but those are for the open seats, because there's a couple of us expiring.
Yeah, there's a few who are up this year.
But if they get other, more candidates, then
They should appoint the fourth at that point then. Yeah. I don't know, but that person also might just fill Tony's seat for whatever his term is. So I'm
that's
not
what I
sure.
mean.
Not sure, but definitely keep telling anybody who's interested to apply, because I like to have a full body here. Anything else?
Dan, you're doing a great job.
I'm trying, my friend.
I'll
I'm
second
trying.
that.
I mean, honestly, better than we possibly could have hoped when we first started looking. So
Well,
you're
I
doing a
love
great
it.
job.
I can't imagine working anywhere else. There's nowhere else I want to be. I can tell you that. And if I can do this for 14 more years, I'll be a happy and lucky person. So, and I'm only giving you 14 more because that's when I'm retiring.
When dumb starts.
And not
Too young to
a day
retire.
longer.
All right, anybody got anything else?
No,
Motion to adjourn then.
second,
All in favor?
aye.
Right.
We're adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you
Thanks.
all.
Thank you.
If anybody needs anything, just so you know, I'm away next week. But Karen's in the office all week. So she, like I said, she can finish my sentences. So if you have any questions, she can answer them.
Okay.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Enjoy.
Bye.
Thank you.
Have a good
Enjoy the week off. Thanks, Dan.
Thanks.